Every December and January in South Africa, many matriculants make silent prayers to God, the universe, or the supernatural, hoping for a chance to get into university. Many do not succeed. For those who do, the next prayer often becomes about making it into their chosen field. Sadly, that doesn't always work out either. You see, you might have a vision of how things should unfold, only to have life throw you a curveball. As we've heard in previous episodes, some of us grow imagining ourselves in a particular field only to find ourselves in a different one.
I want to become a professional soccer player, but then obviously I'm studying engineering, but yeah.
Growing up, I wanted to be a doctor, but no, right now I'm not studying that. I'm doing civil engineering.
When I wanted to grow up, I wanted to be a cashier, actually. Like one of those pick and pays.
And me? I thought I would become a lawyer. My teenage idealism led me to believe that strong arguments and the protection of marginalized people were enough to pursue this dream. It didn't go as planned. I ended up in humanities, became a researcher, and later reassessed my career path. Now, I'm podcasting. Welcome to the third episode of the Hack Your Future podcast. Today, we'll explore essential strategies for thriving in university and beyond. We'll hear from some of Wits University's greatest academics, professionals, and activists who gained their edge from one of South Africa's top universities. I'm your host, Melusi Ngala, and today's episode is all about resilience, flexibility, and adaptation. Kerry Gordon from Wits University's Counseling and Career Development Unit shared insights during our discussion that resonate with what I've heard from former students and my own journey. Do you remember what she said about returning to your main motivation in the previous episode? Here, she applies that strategy to unexpected situations.
It's tough when the choice was not completely your own, or maybe you applied for something and you didn't get into that, so you're in a different degree. Then, I suppose your why might be different. It might not be that this was your first choice or this has always been your dream. Your why might be, I want to be able to get a degree to support myself or support my family, or maybe I want to change at some point, or maybe I want to do a postgrad in something I'm interested in, or adapt my career or change. I think it's important to be real with yourself and reflective with yourself about then what the limitations are for you. And I think it's still possible for us to commit and do really well at something, even if it's not our passion.
In essence, it's about seizing the right opportunities and persevering with commitment, even if the field you find yourself in wasn't your first choice. Journalist and podcaster Takondwa Mwendera was fortunate to kickstart her career successfully.
After my honors, I was very lucky to have graduated as top video student of the year in my year. And with those skills, I was able to go into multimedia. And I remember there was a job post for Forbes Africa. And even before I saw that, it was on one of my notes. I wouldn't call it a vision board because it was just like random notes I would write. And I remember writing my name and my surname at ForbesAfrica.com as my email signature. Just wishful thinking. And then this job opportunity came and I applied for it. I went for the interview. And the next thing, I had to produce an assignment just to show my capabilities. And the editor at the time, she loved the work I did, and I got hired for this multimedia role. And that kickstarted everything for me because I grew so fast. The team at Forbes Africa was very small, so there was a lot of growth opportunities. There was a lot you could get yourself involved in, from writing cover stories. I remember I wrote my first cover story, and it was Connie Ferguson, and it was the worst story ever. I was a bad writer. I was really ashamed of it, but thankfully with the guidance of my editor, she helped refine it, because it was also me learning a new style of writing, which was business and more long form features. So that was such a learning curve for me. And after that, I think I got more confidence. The next big opportunity I got was to handle the Forbes Africa 30 under 30 list, which basically looks at entrepreneurs across the continent, and we highlight and profile their successes and how far they've come whilst they're still under the age of 30. And that was such a big project for me, and still is. When I look back, I was very, very thankful for that opportunity, because it opened so many doors. I got to meet a lot of Pan-African success stories and young people that were doing incredible things. So that inspired me to be like, wow, I can also do something with my life, and it doesn't have to be the linear way of having to only work and get an education and then that's it. But there's so many different opportunities and career prospects that you can go into.
Before landing her dream job, Mwendera worked for a news media TV channel, which sparked her interest in journalism. During her studies, she put in significant effort and did part-time jobs to build her career.
I was and still am someone who's always interested in knowing more and learning more. And through that, I was able to do a lot of side gigs. Even while I was studying at Wits, I got a part-time job as a news anchor. And I would basically go there every Saturday, read the news for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'm done. And that was a passion project for me. Although it was a small-scale news channel, it gave me the right boost to how do I present myself, the skills I need to be a good news reporter, news anchor, and also be more confident in front of the camera. So that was really, really fun. I also started doing more photography gigs because I love photography. And I started my own business, and I would do birthday parties. I would do shoots for individual people. I would do events, like South Point had a lot of events that myself and my other friends, we would go and take photos for them and create content. Just my sheer interest in wanting to be out there, and being a liker of things helps, because when you want something, you're not going to say, oh, don't have time for it. You make the time for it. And you'd have to learn how to balance that with what your priorities are. So I would try as much to prioritize my schoolwork first before any other side hustle or side gig that I was doing.
Despite her achievements, Mwendera faced setbacks and had to re-evaluate and readjust when life didn't go as planned.
I would say there have been two major low moments I can think of in my career, one more recent and one in the past. The past one was a time when I was applying to study for my master's in the UK. I didn't have the funding to be able to afford to take myself there. My parents also didn't have the funding to do so. So I resorted to applying for scholarships. Scholarship one, I thought I did my best. And applying for scholarship isn't just you write your name, fill a form. No, you have to have a vision about your life and be able to structure it in essays, be able to structure what value this course is going to bring to you and what value you're bringing to the world. And it makes you really dig deep into yourself. I spent lots of energy trying to craft and create the best essays. The first one, I got rejected. I was so heartbroken by that, but you know what, we move. The next one, I got myself into the interview round, managed to advocate for myself, and then only to be told I'm not getting it. So yeah, it was very hard hearing rejection after rejection. These are just the main two until later in the year. This was during the COVID era, and after COVID, the year of 2021, that I received feedback from a university, which is the Warwick University in Coventry in the UK, and they liked my essay. And Basically, I'd applied to the Commonwealth Scholarship, and for you to apply to scholarship, you have to show that you've been accepted by a school. So at that point, Warwick accepted me, and beyond that, they basically told the scholarship, we are vouching for this person. So I managed to get a shared scholarship, and that was the turning point for me at that moment. But what I've learned from that is that a no isn't like it's never gonna happen. It's just, it's not now, or something better is out there waiting for you. And the second lowest moment happened when I came back after my scholarship. I had just finished. I was working with an organization in the UK that was supposed to sponsor my work permit. And it turned out, because of my scholarship, the country had a clause that if you are to work, there's a 12-month waiting period before you can actually work again in the UK. So we hadn't known that clause existed until we started filling in the application for my work. And then my work told me that unfortunately we can't bypass the government on this, so you have 7 days to leave the country. That mentally tore me down, because already I had planned my year. I was like, I'm going to get an apartment in London. I was going to do this. I was going to do that. A lot of my friends and my family and my community kind of had this idea that, oh, she's going to be based there forever. Like, that's her life. And now you have to come back and also deal with people asking you, oh, what's happening? But you're not only just coming back to that, but you're coming back to the fact that you've lost a job opportunity. Dealing with that mentally was very hard for me, especially because I've always had my life figured out. There was always a next step. And this is the first time in my life where there was no next step. There was just whatever comes. What made it harder was that when I did my master's in the UK, I studied something completely different. I studied humanitarian engineering. And that's a course that's linked towards development, like what the UN does. So it wasn't anything to do with media. So already I knew, me coming back, I hadn't mentally planned to say I'm going to go back and work in the media industry. I wanted to do something different. Trying to find a job, having left the country for over 1.5 years, was also another struggle for me. I think at some point mentally, my faith helped shift that. My friends were encouraging, my family were very encouraging. I didn't earn a salary for, I think, just under 2 months. That then led me into the next step of working with this VC, which was a position I was headhunted for. So I think through that whole process, I learned a lot. I learned how to be patient. I learned how, even though we might have our own plans as human beings, God has the ultimate say. And sometimes we may not understand what He's trying to do in our lives.
Now, Mwendera works for a venture capitalist enterprise that supports startups in Africa. Her story, along with that of Gontse Ntshegang, a well-known South African TV personality, shows how diverse paths can lead to success.
I finish high school, last paper high school, I find out I'm pregnant. Now, I was a late bloomer, so I think everyone was frolicking and having sex in high school, and I was daft, because my issue has always been like, why am I on this earth? What's going on? So I've suffered from existentialist anguish for a very long time. And then I meet this guy right when I was actually thinking of committing suicide, funny thing. Because I was like, I can't live here. Oh my God, I couldn't deal with everything. Then I'm like, okay, hey, it's over. Bye, my family. Hey, people are like, hey, it's over. Hey, go work at Pick and Pay. Hey, it's over. Yeah, you've messed up your future. Yeah, it's over for you. You're not going to amount to anything. Yeah, I felt that. But at the same time, there's something else that was in me that didn't care. So I did law for a year with UNISA. I hated it because I can't stand the fact that we use Roman Dutch law in South Africa, and I just didn't know how it fit into how we operate as Africans here, and I couldn't keep by and just do it just because it's there and it's done. So I was in conflict. And then the following year, by then I had given birth, my sister comes to me and says, hey, I applied at Wits for you. You have to go audition. So I'm like, oh, okay. I'm lucky because I went to the National School of the Arts. So from standard 6 until matric, I've been doing performance. I struggled with it. In standard 7, I felt like strangling myself because it was so hard. By standard 8, I was like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I not leaving this thing? And I tried to leave it. My teachers wouldn't allow me because I also used to do fine arts because I loved fine arts more than anything. And then when I got to about standard 9, the vulnerability it put me in, it made me deal with issues. It made me deal with my father's death. So it became therapeutic in some way. So my sister said, okay, go audition. And so I auditioned, and when I auditioned at Wits, they took me. And I was like, wow, okay. So what do I do now? No, you study. Oh, okay.
Although Ntshegang seemed destined for an acting career, life often steers us in unexpected directions. She didn't envision herself in her current career. Instead, she focused on surviving and adapting.
It was my survival mode. That's why I kind of think I suffer from PTSD till today. We Africans, we have to survive. It's hustle, constant hustle. So that survival mode was like, okay, cool. You gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. So my thing was, I gotta. So from getting my first job selling ice cream to working in Sandton at Spielhaus selling glassware, all that stuff, that was my motivation. I've never thought of myself on TV. I loved theater. That was my be-all and end-all.
Ntshegan's storytelling is captivating. In spite of her numerous hurdles, including countless auditions, part-time jobs, and bouts of depression, she continues to forge ahead in her beloved art form, which she finds spiritually healing.
It's important to me because it's connected to my spirituality. I believe I'm some type of healer. I heal through my performance, through my acting, because people can connect with me, with the characters that I play, because I believe in anthropology, sociology. I believe in humans, but people. I believe in love. I believe in sympathy, empathy. So I play people's experiences. It's really hard to be on earth and experience all these terrible things that happen on a daily basis to people. Terrible sometimes, beautiful sometimes. But all these colors of life that happen, I have to play them and be honest and true in them. I remember when I played a character on Mzansi Magic and we're living in Kumachuchumbeng in shacks. And it was very difficult because when I would go there and we'd shoot, and I remember there was a truck that collected fish every day, and it reeked. It smelled horrible, it made the whole place dirty. And I remember after we shot, because my character was living in the shack and they're having problems with her child and social workers and alcohol and poverty and all that in squatter camps. And when I would get home into my shower, and I live in the hood. It's not like I live far away from there, but I live in a house. And I would cry because it would dawn on me that, wow, yeah, you're acting, but that's someone's reality. That's someone's daily life. You, it's like a slice of life. But that's someone's life, so you really have to be honest and show the sincerity and the truth in it so that people can understand and be sympathetic, but also be human so that we can really understand each other's experiences.
From both Mwendera and Ntshegan's experiences, we learn that embracing challenges and seizing opportunities is crucial. As Gordon explains in more detail, it's through these experiences that we grow stronger, wiser, and better.
I think the biggest thing is that scary period that you might have when you've just finished studying and you haven't got a job yet because you don't have experience. It happens to almost all of us. And it is normal, and you will get through it. You may have to be adaptable, and you may even have to work in an area that's not quite in your field or adjacent to your field in the short term. But ultimately, you can have the skills and the knowledge to build yourself towards the career that you really want. Change is scary and humans don't naturally like it, but it is inevitable, it's universal, and it's going to happen. Challenges are inevitable and they're going to happen. So to take those change and challenges not as defeats, but rather as opportunities, and to try and think in any challenge you have, okay, what can I do with this? What can I learn from this? Or, okay, I have to accept that it's not going the way I want, but what do I have control over?
As we conclude this episode, remember that challenges are not roadblocks, but opportunities for growth. By embracing change and remaining committed to our goals, we can navigate the twists and turns of our careers and lives. Our next episode will be about approaching a problem from different angles. Hack Your Future is a production brought to you by Wits University. The show is hosted and produced by me, Melusingal. The music and sound engineering is by Calvin Bueta. A special thanks to the head of marketing and communication at Wits, Sharona Patel, Zenez Kosana, and the rest of the team for assisting with planning, designing, and the management of this project. Stay tuned for our next episode where we continue to explore the journeys of Wits alumni and how they are shaping the world. Subscribe, share, and let us know your thoughts by leaving a review. For more on Wits University, please visit www.wits.ac.za.